And then we're going to do this. Bit of that. And I hope you can see my screen. Like that. Everybody see me? I see the screen. Fantastic. Don't talk because you're muted. Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Knut. I am a senior director with LifeWave. I work this business with my wife, Julie. She's the one who found this business some 16, 18 months ago. She had an injury on her calf muscle and back and forth to the physio. Nothing worked for a couple of weeks. A friend of hers, an acquaintance more, decided to offer Julie the patches and came in with an X39, and I think it was an Eon, and stuck it on the back of her calf muscle. And within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, Julie was walking up and down the stairs. That's how I came across this. You are here by invitation, and you might be affiliated, associated with us already. In that case, extra welcome to you. Take notes. And as we go through this, see where you can maybe insert your own angle, see how you can create your own stories in and around what we talk about. So what do all of these kind of lovely people that you see on the screen, whether it's the nurse, whether it's the tennis player, whether it's the police officers, or the people playing racquetball, or what's that? No, I don't even remember what it's called. It's not tennis. But anyway,
pickleball.
Pickleball. Hey, I've been in America for 10 years. I can still forget things. Give me a break. And that goes to show that we can all do this, right? So what do all of these people have in common, including yourself? Well, guess what? We all have stem cells. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, stem cells. Because what has happened in the world of stem cells over the last 3 to 5 years is quite revolutionary. And most people who have heard about stem cells, they have heard about the injections. They might have heard about umbilical blood that they extract the stem cells from to be used in treatments in the future, cryo, frozen at the time of birth. I probably would not have done that route myself. Number one, it's not my own DNA. And secondly, if you go the other way with stem cell injections, you probably will find that it can be quite painful and it's very expensive. And we'll talk about what we have right here as an alternative to all of that. So what are the stem cells? Stem cells are basically the raw materials, the building blocks. Think of it as the bricks and mortar of your own body. But these cells, these pluripotent stem cells, as they're called, can be turned into virtually every single tissue that you have in your body. That means heart, liver, kidney, skin. It can go across the whole gambit. And because they can turn themselves into what the body needs to repair itself, which is unique. There are no other cells in the body that can do this. So if I was to wind back the clock to the moment in time you popped out into this world, the doctor held you by your legs, turned you upside down and gave you a smack in the bum. At that moment in time, you were virtually 100% stem cells. Because at that moment in time, your body is now going to start growing for the next 12 to 18 years, and it needs the support of the stem cells to create the tissues, the organs, the bones, the nails, the hair, and everything that is needed for you to become an adult. And that's what stem cells do. That's what they're designed to do. The unfortunate thing is by the time when you hit 50% or more of your stem cell had gone dormant. And by the time you're 60, when you start showing your age, when you start finding that you have aches and pains that you didn't have 5 or 10 or 15 years ago, at that moment in time, you're down to less than 10% of active stem cells. That's why it takes longer to heal. That's why it takes longer to recuperate from sports. That's why it takes longer to do a lot of things. And what's the alternative? We tend to go to the doctor and we say, hey, what's going on, doc? And he will say, you're just getting old, get used to it. What if you could activate your own stem cells with just a patch sitting on top of your skin? And that's why I'm so excited when I saw this, when I actually understood it. what it could do to my body, and what I could share with friends and relatives who are either having chronic diseases, having chronic pain. I could share something with them that will allow their body to begin to restore. So I'm asking you, attending today, if your body could rejuvenate, which one of these would you pick for yourself? We have seen some amazing, amazing results in pain relief. We have had people who have been on painkillers for years and years with bad knees, and inside a week, they've thrown away all the painkillers. Reduce the inflammation in your body. Body aches and pains typically comes from inflammation. And if we can find a way to reduce it or eliminate it, well, guess what? You will have less pain as a result. Wound healing, well, we all sometimes have accidents, whether it's via a knife, we cut ourselves, or we might have to have some surgery. Like, I don't know, if you have an appendicitis and you need to have it out, well, if you can help yourself heal faster, well, why wouldn't you? Energy and vitality, focus, mental clarity, all of these are things that we take for granted that when we get older, we get, I guess, a foggy brain. Well, what if you could actually see clearly again, think clearly again, and attend to whichever task that you're doing with greater clarity and speed? Sports performance, I went for a run myself personally yesterday. I haven't been for a run for more than 20 years. We did a 2-mile circuit with push-ups, sit-ups, all sorts of other things in between. And I thought I was going to be absolutely wasted. I'm 60 this year. I topped out at 168 on my heart rate during that exercise, and I am still a functioning body. And a buddy of mine who invited me, he can't hardly get up from his own desk. What about skin appearance? As we find ourselves, as we grow older, as someone told me this analogy once upon a time, that what sits underneath your skin when you're young is like a clutch of grapes. But as we grow older, those grapes kind of start drying up and shrivel up and turn into raisins. Stem cell activations will actually kick that back in and help improve, reduce lines, wrinkles, firmer skin. It is something to behold. Don't expect it to happen on day one, but typically something along the lines of 3 months. I think if you took a picture on day one and you took a picture on day 90, you will see a significant difference. So how does X39 work itself? What is the technology? What is the science behind it? Well, in your body, there's a molecule called GHK-Cu, GHK copper peptide. And when these molecules are stimulated, they in turn will reactivate your own stem cells. No injections, no ingestions. It sits on top of your skin. It's completely non-transdermal, so nothing goes through your skin. And this magic little patch, which I have here, this magic little patch has a web of organic crystals, nanocrystals at the back of it. So when you peel off the little 2 stickers and you attach it to your skin, like I have here, it's basically formulated to activate your own copper peptide, which activates your own stem cells. Now, I can't say this loud enough or frequently enough. I use it as an example. Is when you get out of bed in the morning, your bed is typically warm. That is the infrared heat that comes out of your body, the heat that comes out of your body. That can be an infrared light. That's infrared light coming out of your body. So these organic nanocrystals that sit on the back of the patch are reflecting, if it's put it on your skin, it's reflecting the infrared light back into your body at certain frequencies. And that frequency is what activates your own copper peptide, which then activates your own stem cells. That is why this technology is so incredible. It's the only technology of its kind in the world that can do this as a wearable device. The patch itself, you wear for 12 hours on and 12 hours off. Mine sits next to my bathroom mirror, so I'm getting myself ready in the morning. It's easy to stick my hand into the basket, pick out the patch, and stick it on my skin. At the end of the day, when I'm getting back in, I brush my teeth, I take the patch off and throw it away. And wash, rinse, and repeat for 30 days. The envelope it comes in comes with a supply for 30 days. Here's the key. Please make sure that you drink at least 18 ounces of water, maybe even more. Why? Because this activates some stem cells in your body, and your body will start to detoxify. Over time, we've built up some things that over the years, it's probably not good for us, and our body will start to shift that out of the system as soon as you start wearing this patch. Finally, I should also say this, that if you have ever had any organ transplants, please do not consider wearing the X39, as it will also potentially activate the stem cells in your donated organ, be it a heart, kidney, liver, or whatever. Please do not do that. We have other alternatives for you in those circumstances. So here are some of the long-term results that you can explore further. We have a couple of websites with scientific studies and testimonials. 4,000 genes begins to reset in your body. That's significant because things that have gone dormant over time are now reactivated. Within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced, or the brain of the person who is wearing the patch is basically rebalancing itself. Let me stop here for a second and just mention a little history that we found, I think, about 2 weeks ago. I went to the Chamber of Commerce. I met this young gentleman called Matthew, and we started talking. Long story short, a week later, we're around at his place, and he basically has been diagnosed with Asperger's, which is a variation of being on the spectrum. We stuck an Eon patch on the back of his neck, and he, within 15 minutes, was a lot calmer. Now, the piece de resistance, the real thing that blew me away, was I simply took an X39 patch in my hand, didn't peel off the stickers at the back, and I just held it to his temple. And his immediate reaction was, wow, I can feel my brain slowing down. And in the last 2 weeks, I've had a number of conversations with him, and he goes, people don't understand what I'm on. They're all asking, what's the medication? And he basically said, there is no medication, there is no medicine. And he turns around and shows them the patch stuck on his neck. And they go, we need to know more about this. So it's an incredibly rewarding profession, business to be in as well, when you can see such a life-changing event taking place in front of your eyes. It's humbling, to be honest. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. That's the clutch of grapes that I was talking about. They are kind of puffing themselves back up again to be grapes, so it smoothens out your skin, which decreases your wrinkles. Don't be surprised to see your hair start growing. I personally, my family, we never really, my dad's side and my mom's side actually, I've never had a lot of particularly beard or hair on arms or legs or anything like that. I'm very lucky like that. But lately I noticed that my shadow is beginning to creep up my cheek, which is kind of interesting. I've never had to sit in the afternoon and scratch my cheek and going, oh, that feels like it's funny. Anyway, but here's the one that really got me when I saw this. Within 6 months, 14 out of 15 people lowered their vascular age by an average of 8 years after just 6 months. That is not anti-aging, it's age reversing. That had my attention. I'm 60 this year, and since I started wearing these patches, we have this fandangled scale in the bathroom that measures water content and bone intensity and all these other things that comes out. And one of them is your biological age. I stepped on this morning and I'm 42. I'm actually turning 60 this year. So here we have a few examples of what we're talking about, what these patches can do. All of these are examples. We can't guarantee that this will be you. But pay attention to not only what you see changing, but also pay attention to what's missing as time goes by. Rosemary at the top of the screen, that's in 7 months, simply by wearing the patches. That's just incredible. I don't know if people run around, I'm sure they do, but surgery is expensive. Chemicals are expensive and dangerous. So the fact that our bodies can reignite, I would say, it's fantastic. Down the very bottom, there was a bunion that was cut off a bone. And in the space of a month, there's next to no trace of the scar even. Top left-hand corner, you can see what's happened to someone's hair. It started growing, it looks darker. Bottom left, facial changes. The guy on the right, he fell through the rafters in a building. I think he broke 2 or 3 ribs, punctured his lung, and the doctor said, you're going to be out of work for 6 weeks. He was wearing the patches, and you can see there in the space of 3 weeks, from June the 17th to June the 30th. Actually, that's 2 weeks. Cool, blimey. That's 2 weeks. That's 13 days. You can see the patch being attached to the back of his hair on the June 17th picture. That is remarkable. I thought it was 3 weeks. That is 2 weeks. Wow. Now this chap in the middle here, that's me. The picture on the left was taken when I started the patches in May last year. And the red one here is in September. I didn't change my diet. I didn't start running. I didn't start lifting weights. I didn't change the way I was eating. I didn't change what I was drinking. I was drinking as many beers as I've always done. But that is just what the patches themselves have done. So what I'd like to do is to just open up here for a couple of testimonials, 2 or 3, if someone would be kind enough to just raise their hand, and if they have something to share as to what the patches have done for them in a very short period of time. I'm not seeing any hands waving. Okay, Dr. Velvet.
Hey guys, and welcome to all our new people on the call as well. We're really excited to have you here. I guess it was in about 1.5 years ago, I decided to wear the patches. I was introduced to it by Barbara because I had an eye injury. But while wearing the patches to help my eye heal is when I really started noticing other differences. Like my hair was completely white before COVID, and now my hair has turned back to a natural sandy blonde. I'm really enjoying that. And I had a really nasty liver spot, age spot on my cheek. And just one day I noticed, wait a minute, where did it go? And so I had to ask my husband, what side of my face was that liver spot on? So the things that I've noticed on top of healing the eye was my skin looked better, less wrinkles, and greater vitality. And I will have to say, I'm only 62 years old, but it was getting hard for me to walk down steps. I was getting very afraid. And now I can just kind of fly down the stairs and absolutely have no pain in the knees and greater flexibility. So a lot of good energy, a lot of good things.
Thank you, Dr. Velvet. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Anyone else out there in Zoom land? I can see Janet and the Bob waving their hand.
Yeah, well, not waving, but it's up. I honestly, when I first heard about this technology as a advanced nurse practitioner, I was a little skeptical. I mean, it just sounded a little too good to be true, to be honest. So I did a deep dive into the studies, and the studies were well done studies. They were third-party studies, and they got my attention. But really, what got my attention was when I started wearing the patches. I had lots of different issues. Probably the ones that were the most startling to me was the improved sleep, and I had colon issues for years. They were completely gone within a month, and about 3 months in, I had nerve pain in that sciatic area for years with multiple ablations, and that went away. And neuropathy pain went away. The other nerve issues, I don't think I was supposed to say the word, sorry. The nerve pain that is burning in your legs and feet, it was in my hands and my legs and feet, went away at about the 6-month mark. So some things can go away really quickly. Some things take time. But you know, I didn't get this way. I'm 64 now. I didn't get this way in just a few months. It took years, right? So give yourself some time, be patient. They are working. You just need to give it enough time to show the things that you're looking for.
I'll jump in with one. A buddy of mine, he, for long story short, we met him, he was waving the flag on the side of the road, and I stopped because he had 2 kids with him, and I wanted to stop and talk to him and say, well done, sir. And long story short, he's into something called rucking. There's men running around with 30-pound steel plates on their back for exercise. Men do stupid things. Okay. But he's out there late at night. They're doing a 30-mile march or something like that. And he steps off a curb and rolls his ankle. Big time. Bad. So I catch up with him within a day or two, and I stick a patch directly on his pain point. And this was an ice wave patch because he was in so much pain and he doesn't like chemicals. So I basically stuck it on there and found the spot behind his knee, and I just held the patch there. I didn't stick it on, and he could move his ankle. And then I took it away, and I said, no, I tried to move your ankle. And he goes, no, put it back. So the same thing happened to a colleague of mine in the office. I left him with an ice wave, I left him with an X39, and within a day or two, this seriously rolled ankle had come back to its normal size. And it's an ongoing story, but yes, we just can have, if I can find someone that I can help and I build a friendship, then this thing can actually grow. So anyone else? Rosemary, I can see you there.
Yes, you know, when I was introduced to it, it was Janet is the one that introduced it to me, and actually really just left me her card. And I didn't know that I was looking for anything, except that I wanted to sleep better, and I had some issues with my legs. And so I watched the video, and of course I called her, and one thing led to another. Put a patch on my neck that didn't want to turn, and it turned right away. And I said, you know, I probably really need to know more about this, you know. So one thing led to another, and then I thought, well, okay, I'll try this. Well, then I within the first couple of days, I could sleep like for 6 hours without waking up. And that was very interesting to me. So I was hooked from that point on, and all kinds of things happened thereafter. So we do, as you've said, it is working. It just affects everyone at a different rate, and whatever it's going to target for you first. We can't guarantee, but we know it's going to work.
Yep. Barbara, thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, so I actually have a news story for you. In March, I fell, and it was right here at home in my apartment, and I injured my upper back, and I was in terrible pain, and Janet can attest to that because she and I were on a flight to Scottsdale 6 days later, and so she had to put up with me and my pain that trip. And so anyway, I finally got back, as the pain diminished, I finally got back into walking and been doing some moderate exercise at the gym. But I couldn't go to Pilates. My Pilates teacher wouldn't take me. She said, no, you need more time. And so I had my first Pilates yesterday, in 3 months. I get a little over 3 months. And she was astonished. She said, Barbara, you are so strong. You haven't lost any of your muscle. Because those are all completely different movements than just taking a walk. And so, and they're stressing different muscle groups. And she was astonished. And so at our age, we lose muscle very quickly. And so I just am feeling very blessed to have X39 and X49.
Fantastic. Thank you all. All right, I'm going to kick back in. I'm going to share a joke with you first. It's a silly joke. What do you call a man or a person who used to like tractors?
Use what?
Used to like tractors, like the tractors that you have on the farmland and the likes that you're out, and then you call them an ex-tractor fan. Sorry, boom, boom. Hey.
That was worse than a dad joke.
Hey, gonna have a little bit of fun in here as well. All right, so let's where we go. I need to come back into the presentation from current slide. Here we go. So let's talk about the company itself, LifeWave. LifeWave is a company that was established in 2004. David Schmidt is the CEO, the inventor, and the owner of the company. He has more than 130 patents to his name. He obviously is a scientist and an inventor, and he's also received numerous awards and accolades throughout the years. LifeWave is unique because it's the only phototherapy product in the world that uses the body as its own power cells. Imagine your body being a battery. It uses its own power source to activate your own stem cells. And here on the right, you can actually see a copy of the patent granted here in the US for X39. And as you can see, the name of they have there is Wearable Phototherapy Apparatus. That is pretty impressive. That came out in 2020. That means that we have at least another 17 years before anyone else can start trying to do this. This is exciting times ahead. So, company, as I said, started in 2004. The first patch out of the gate was the Energy Enhancer, which was co-developed or tasked to be developed by DARPA and for the US Navy SEALs. The US Navy SEALs, they were looking for something that could keep them awake longer and have a higher energy for a longer period of time. And David came up with the Energy Enhancer and the technology that we're still using today for the X39 stem cell activation patch. Over the last 4 years, there's been a 15 times growth curve for the company, and that can only be attributed really to the X39 patch. And as it stands at the moment, it's a couple of $1 billion marketplace, but it's growing, and they're expecting us some not too distant the future to hit $300 billion as a market, the stem cell market itself. That is incredible. We have a unique product. LifeWave has a unique product, and the best of it is actually available in 75 countries around the world. Now, let's go back to what we housed at the very, very front. If this technology is what we say it is, and if it wasn't, we wouldn't be in the market. What would you yourself like to have some assistance with? What would you like to have yourself, a way to maybe help a family relative? What would you like to assist that person, your neighbor maybe, that is waiting on a waiting list for knee replacement surgery because of the cartilage is gone in the knees and they're born and born? What would you do? What would you, if you could help someone that you love and care for remove pain, inflammation, all we're asking is, number one, use them yourself for obvious reasons, but number two, share them with some people, share them. We have an opportunity here, guys, to make a difference in the world. This is, I think it would be selfish and actually sometimes rather mean that if I don't go out and speak with people that I know have a problem, have an issue, it could be someone who's maybe just looking for some relief so they can bend down and play with the grandchildren. I don't know what your score is, but I know for sure that when I see people now that have a challenge, I am virtually every single time I'm saying, I think I might be able to help you with that. Are you open to having a look at an alternative way of treating your issue or dealing with your issue? We never promise that we can fix it, but we know that we can at least alleviate pain. We can do things that traditional modern medicine, so to speak, more often than not will prescribe a prescription for. And I always wondered myself, and this is a kind of half a joke, half serious, if the pills that are out there in the modern world were supposed to heal you, how come they have to give you a repeat on the prescription? I never got that one. So if you're finding yourself that you're actually seeing, well, yeah, I could have some more mental clarity, energy, and vitality, let's get you started. We have a silver value pack that will give you 3 months supply of the patch X39. If you're having some pains and aches, like some inflammation, speak to the person who invited you. There is a second option for the same value. That would be 2 months of X39 and 2 packs of something, a patch called Eon, which is an inflammation reduction patch itself. If you compare that $299.95 with a retail price, it's a saving to you yourself of $150. That's pretty significant. Now we actually have a part that we're going to switch gears now. We actually have a part here, part of the what we have available. There is a way for you to, I guess, having your patches paid for. So as I said a couple of minutes ago, can you imagine sharing this with someone who's in pain? Can you imagine sharing this with someone who would like to have more energy, more focus? There is a part of the system here that you yourself can actually have your costs for your patches paid for. And that's an excellent starting point for this next thing here. What is most important in your life? Switching gears. What if you could have a little bit of more time? What if you could have a little bit more money? It could be only, say, $100, $200 extra per week. I was speaking to a gentleman today, and I said, so what if you didn't have to be working in a HR department, what would you rather be doing? He goes, it doesn't drop a beat. He goes, travel the world. I said, okay, that's a noble thing to do. I've been to a lot of countries. It comes with one caveat though. I said, actually two. It comes, you've got to have time and you've got to have money. And he goes, yeah, dang, you're absolutely right. So I said, well, and we took the conversation further, but what is important to you? What would you do? Which one would you pick? When time wasn't an issue, money wasn't an issue, or the fact is that you could cover your credit cards, or the fact that you could pay down the mortgage on your home a lot faster. We all have different things that turns us on in terms of what we love to do for recreation. Some people just like to sit in a boat on a lake fishing. They can do that all the time. I'll probably be prone to be jumping in the water with a scuba tank on the back of my back and drop down to 100, 150 feet. That's what I like doing. But picture yourself, pick one of these pictures that you can see here and go, okay, I haven't thought about this for some time. The last 2 or 3 years have been, shall we say, challenging in many respects. There have been a lot of families that have been struggling. I know other people have had young people having serious problems. In fact, I spoke with a former colleague of mine that I first met in I'm showing my age now, 1994. I was working out of Sydney and she was working in Hong Kong. I had a conversation with her today. She lives in England. And she goes, yeah, my two 17-year-old daughters, twins, they are so insecure just because of the last 2 years of lockdowns and everything else that's happening here. They're actually a long way behind on the curve in self-confidence. What would you do if you could help people take them out? Very good question. I think as we move on. The stem cell industry is humongous, huge. We are really realizing what the stem cells can do in our body. Our doctors, if they are half switched on, will always be wanting to look at the latest advances in stem cell technology. I had an example yesterday. I found an ad in the paper here. I called him up. That's a year-old paper. And I just gave him a call and couldn't get hold of him. Julie was zooming around in town. She stopped at the office, got his number, spoke to his secretary or second in command. And within 10 minutes, he's calling me. Back and forth a little bit. He goes, now I'm so busy. I can't do this. I can't do that. I say, okay, just wanted to ask whether you do anything with stem cells in your practice. He goes, well, stem cell technology is a little bit limited. I said, oh, interesting. Are you aware of the latest? He goes, what's that? And the story continues. But they are well educated. They know the importance of it. So starting a conversation with that, all it takes is a little bit of guts, a little bit of bravery. And if you end up with egg on your face, hey, that's all happens. But let's look at the markets themselves. Okay, what happened to my cursor? Here we go. So 20 years in 2024. I'm going to zoom in on a couple of things there. The last one, opportunity. People these days are looking for a side gig. Most people today are not being paid. Inflation is killing them. There's a number of different things that people don't discuss, of course, in public. We have a system, and the system allows us to reap rewards on a consumable product on a weekly basis. It means that every week, when someone buys a product in our teams, that transforms into dollars and cents. And especially the affordability. X39 is a fraction of the cost of stem cell injections. Stem cell injections runs from, I don't know, 2,500, 3,000 all the way up to 35, 40, 50,000. And here in the US, there's an adjunct to that. Here in the US, stem cell injections are only allowed, as far as I know, to be done into joints. If you want anything else done, you have to go abroad, and you have to factor the cost of that into it as well, of course. So if you are a heavy hitter, as I say, if you are a practitioner, if you want to run this seriously hard and fast, we have a diamond enrollment kit. It will afford you 19 sleeves of X39 or a combination of other patches. It's a $1,600 investment, and we have the system in place to help you return that investment in weeks. Now, just as a paradigm shift a little bit, if I came to you in 2003 and I said, you know, I have come across this company called Apple, mostly known for computers. And I have an inside source that tells me they're just about to launch something called an iPhone, and they're trying to make it into a smartphone, but iPhone. And I can get you in on this opportunity for $1,600. If you knew then what you know today, what would you have said? It would be a no-brainer, wouldn't it? Absolutely. And that's where we are in its infancy with the stem cell activation technologies. This is the infancy of it. We're just getting started. Then we have 5 types of bonuses, which means that the income potential is actually unlimited. If you and your friend, or if you have a friend that comes in with a diamond pack, you get a product introduction bonus from that of $500. And that in itself is pretty good, because within 3, if you have 3 people who come in on the diamond pack, you basically paid for your own diamond pack investment. Secondly, you can earn 20 to 25% of the team members' income. So let's say this chap here on the screen, let me go to the next one. Let me say that if this is you and you have a friend who comes in on the diamond kit, you have another friend who comes in on the diamond kit, people come in on different kits. But as the team starts expanding, we have something called cycle bonuses. When a cycle is a week, it starts at 1 minute past midnight on Monday morning, and it finishes at 1 minute or at midnight on Sunday night. That's a week. And as people acquire and purchase products in dollars and cents, those dollars and cents equates to points. And as the points begin to grow, you are tapping out at $25,000 a week. I'll say that again, $25,000 a week. That's a cool $1.2, $1.3 million if you want to run hard and you want to get to that level. That's on its own. But there is a second step here. And this is where it comes in as an unlimited income potential. So the limit being $1.3 million on this side, if you build a very big team. So that's limited. But here you have an unlimited potential. So let's say I, Knut, introduced Julie, my wife, and Julie introduced Janet, should she be so lucky. So Julie is the first level, Janet is the second level, and Barbara is the third level. So when Julie starts generating income or these cycle bonuses, because I introduced her, I get 25% as a override from the company. So if Julie's earning $1,000 a week, the person who introduced me, in other words, I get 25%. If Janet comes in and she earns $1,000 in cycle bonuses, and by the way, she's earning way more than that, but let's say it was $1,000, I would be paid $200. And if Barbara comes in and earns a cycle bonus of $1,000, I would again be paid $200. So the only limit, only cap here is actually myself, because if I'd only spoke to Julie and no one else, well, I would never earn anything more than, what's that, $650 from this system. But if I go and speak to 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people over time, there is no limit to what can be earned through this system. And that's why it's so unique. And that's why it's so rewarding to work with people. So my question to you is, sitting here now on a Tuesday night, I thought it was Wednesday today, and I'm going to have a long week. But sitting here on a Tuesday night and telling silly jokes, but what do you want? When was the last time someone came up to you and said, hey, I can help you. I can help you with some pain issues, some health issues, but it can also help you with a side gig that could potentially replace your current income stream. If you love what you do, keep on doing it, but you could then double your income stream. What if you could be financially free? What does financially free means? It means that you can do what you want, when you want, for however long you want, with whomever you want. I'm going to leave you with this. There's one more after this. But this is an opportunity to repair and restore your own health. But it's also a huge opportunity to expand and grow your own wealth. Maybe it's supplementing a 401k. Maybe it's just to pay piano lessons for your daughter. Maybe it is to go for an exotic vacation every year. I wouldn't mind having a ski lodge in Jackson Hole. I love skiing. Maybe you want to tap out and do some traveling. So before I completely wrap up, this meeting is on every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. We also have it at 2 p.m. at 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. We have the same presentation going on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. We have some training sessions. But what I would love for you to do is to invite those who are in pain, who's praying for a solution. Invite your friends who's looking for an income. And share this with people who have no option. A colleague of mine in the office, I never really gotten to know him, but we were talking the other day. And he basically said, yeah, my wife has had to quit work. She got serious pain in her leg. Haven't been able to go to work for the last 12 years. Now I know why he's stressed. They're looking at some of these things now, how to help them. If you want more testimonials, you want to find further information, go to startx39now.com. And then finally, I'm going to leave you with this. We have a national convention in Orlando in the middle of October. Anyone who's on this call, I would strongly advise you to get your ticket. Speak to the person who invited you. It's 2 days, and if you have a little bit of a vacation on the side, but listening to what the product company is doing, what they're lining up for 2024, and meet some friends, make new friends. Hear some amazing stories of what these patches have done. Hear some amazing stories of what people have overcome to start building this business. I strongly invite you to come along and actually see what this is all about. Find more information about the National Convention from the person who invited you to this meeting. And with that, I shall stop. And I shall also stop the recording. And then